Todd, you come from a musical family yourself, right? Background?
I do. I come from
Tell
a
me
music
about that.
Both my parents are musicians. My dad was, he musically directed for Nat King Cole. He performed with Sinatra and Tony Bennett and lived in Vegas and did that whole Rat Pack thing. My mom was a choir master and a piano teacher, and my whole life has been about music.
Now, these choir competitions actually happen
Mm.
in real life. Did you go to any of them, see any of them? Or if your mom was a choir master, maybe you did as a child.
When I wrote a bunch of this movie, The Preacher's Wife, many years ago, and became very inspired by the whole gospel world as a result of working with the Georgia Mass Choir and Whitney Houston, and the musical director on that movie, Merv Warren. And when I decided I wanted to try and do a gospel film of my own, I had to re-immerse myself into research. And so I started going to gospel choir competitions, and they're amazing. I went to a competition in Newark, New Jersey. It was 15,000 people. They were all dressed up. It lasted 6 hours, and you sat down, you looked at your watch, and you couldn't believe it was almost, 6 hours. Amazing.
Unbelievable. What a great cast you've got in this film. Was Dolly always your first choice for this one?
There was never anybody in my head except Dolly Parton. I felt like she was sitting on my shoulder the entire time that I was writing it. It's, when went down to Nashville to meet her for the first time to try and interest her. She had read the script and she enjoyed it, and we were discussing whether she would do the movie, and so went down to Tennessee to meet with her. And she came in at 9 o'clock in the morning in 6-inch heels with her hair to here, that face full of makeup, dressed like she's ready to go on the Tonight Show. She was so fabulous from the moment she walked in that I thought, it's like she jumped out of my head and into the room with me.
Now, I talk about the rest of the cast, but while we're talking about Dolly, she wrote 3 songs for the film. Was that her offering up, your requesting? How did that come about?
I thought that I would be begging Dolly to write music for the movie, but she was incredibly gracious and gung-ho. The amazing thing about Dolly is she's such an incredible musician and songwriter and has written so many classic songs, but when she would write a song that was a great song but maybe needed a little work or needed changing because I knew the scene it was going to go into and she didn't, rather than rewrite the song, she would say to me, if you don't like it, I'll write you another one. It only takes me an hour.
That's a good thing. Producing as well as acting Queen Latifah. How is that working with her?
Queen Latifah's great. She's so talented, she's so real, and she's so present. There's no diva thing to her. There's just working. She gelled so great with Dolly. She gelled so great with the people that were playing her family. She was a joy.
And the two kids. I mean, they're just fabulous. Talk about their casting. And if I'm not mistaken, weren't you tell me about this if it's true? You were in the audience of the play where you saw Jeremy.
Yeah.
And that's talk about that.
Basically, I came in out of the rain to see a show on Broadway, and the lead in the show was out sick, and so the understudy went on, and I had never seen this kid before in my life, and I live in New York, and I go to a lot of theater, and it surprised me that someone so incredible could be not on my radar, but there he was amazing. The next day, I tracked down how to get in touch with him. I got in touch and had him come to my apartment with some other actors, and we did a read-through of the script in my apartment. From that moment on, I cast him. And then he told me that the night that I had seen him in that show was the first time he had ever gone on stage in New York, and I happened to be there.
Very lucky. And he said that he was supposed to wear a big old wig, which they didn't have for him. And
I didn't even know that.
You probably would not have cast him.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Musical scenes here in this were incredible. Talk about the difficulties and challenges in shooting this big of a musical event.
Yeah. What made it easier to shoot the musical numbers was the fact that I was working with such great musicians. Dolly is a musician. Queen Latifah is a musician. And Merv Warren, our musical director slash composer slash arranger slash musical guru, is amazing and had worked with Queen Latifah many times before, and he worked with me on The Preacher's Wife, and I had known him forever. And so really it was all about preparation and having the team all on the same page, and then letting everybody do what they do and making sure I didn't get in the way.
The only person we didn't talk about, Kiki Palmer, how'd that come about?
Kiki's great. Kiki, I had, not being a teenager, I was not aware of her on her television show. But she had auditioned for me for my last film, and I thought that she was great, although she was not right for that particular movie. And so I had them bring her in for this movie, and I flew Jeremy out to Los Angeles to audition with her, and as soon as the two of them were in a room together, you knew that these were the people you had to cast.
Excellent. We're done. That's what we needed. Thank
Great.
you very much.
My pleasure.
Preachers, I did that, John.